WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station. And our morning show, it's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and joining us in this segment, I've got Valerie Belusco. Valerie is a community and economic development educator with the University of Illinois Extension. Valerie, good morning. How are we?
Good morning, Grayson. I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing well. We were talking for just a moment there about how the snow has maybe harshed our moods a little bit, but we're not going to let it get to us here as we talk about this. As we get into the holiday season, this is becoming increasingly important, Valerie. It's protecting yourself and your finances. How is the best way of maybe doing so this holiday season with as many scams are afoot?
I'm going to give you two big things. One, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Always remember that. Two, never rush through things when it comes to your finances. Always stop, take a minute, pause, think things through, maybe double check something, double check your statements, those kind of things. It's worth the extra couple minutes that you're going to invest in doing that to make sure that you are staying safe.
Never rush finances. And if it's too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. You mentioned there, never rush finances. What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but right now during the holiday season, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they are pushing hard out lots of sales from just their followers. And so we see lots of great deals. We see lots of click here ads, and those are wonderful. And lots of times those are legitimate, but sometimes they're scammers. And sometimes they're scammers that look exactly like companies that we are familiar with, brands that we are familiar with. And they're very good at tricking us into thinking that it's a legitimate site that we can click on and we go straight there. And of course, when we're looking on our phone or our tablet, sometimes it's hard to see everything. So maybe we don't notice that the website address is slightly off, or maybe there's just a little something funky going on with the logo. It's a lot harder to see when you're on your phone. So sometimes just, taking a minute, maybe, oh, I saw this ad, it looks really good. Don't click on the ad. Instead, take a minute, open your browser, and go to the website yourself, and then see. If the website isn't advertising that sale, there's a really good chance whatever you saw on social media is probably a scam.
Well, mentioned here is social engineering scams. And what exactly makes that a thing? Like, what is maybe the difference between a typical scam and a social engineering scam? I don't know if I've heard that term.
So social engineering is definitely an interesting term, and really it has to do with so many scams, whether they're online or in person. But really what it means is it's when an attacker is using that human interaction, those social skills that they have to kind of either obtain your information or kind of compromise your information that you have maybe about your organization, your finances, something on your computer. It's just, finding ways to get in and be sneaky using your human connectivity skills.
Okay, so being able to actually communicate on a interpersonal level to then take information or take finances from you, take dollars from you potentially, or just get you to sign up for something you don't know about. How do we stay secure, though, and safe this holiday season when it comes to the online shopping? Because you mentioned in Facebook or TikTok, say you get one of those ads, let's search what we're looking for, not clicking through the ad. Any other ways of maybe double checking or keeping yourself afloat when it comes to online shopping that you have?
So if you have a computer at home, I would suggest that you use it. The monitor is bigger. You can see little differences. Sometimes you can see the entire URL at the top of the screen. So if you're going to check out on a site, what you want to see on that URL is you want to see the HTTPS, and S stands for secure. If you don't see that, then that is not a verified website that is secure to make sure that your card information and your personal information cannot be compromised. Usually you can't see that when you're looking on a phone or a tablet. So if you have a computer, definitely use your computer.
Okay. Okay. So take it off the phone, take it off the little screen, take it to a little bigger screen, and make sure that you're really seeing things as they are. You've also got here phishing attacks and vishing attacks, PH and VI. Okay. I got to know the difference between the two.
Okay, so a phishing PH attack is when usually it's used in email, but it can come through websites. But what they're trying to do is the attackers are trying to seem like they're reputable, seem like they already have some connection to you. So maybe it's a charity that you've donated to, or maybe they found out that you donate to charities that have to do with health concerns. And so they might pose as a health organization that really needs donations right now. And it's highly critical. And, they might grasp and tug on your heartstrings. And so, it seems reputable and the email seems reputable and, everything seems fine. But what they're really doing is taking your information. So, what you might want to do is if you're not familiar with the nonprofit that's reached out to you, again, go look online, look them up, look up and make sure they have 501c3 status, make sure that they're really doing what they say they're doing, and learn a little bit more about them before donating your dollars.
Well, it's sad when you consider these are people that are trying to do right in terms of donating or helping out a cause or an organization, and then it's not where that is dollar is going to actually end up, and just always a shame. But a vishing attack, so a phishing attack could be email, it could be some sort of electronic communication where they're trying to get you to think they're trustworthy. How does a vishing attack work?
Well, let me tell you one more thing about a phishing attack,
Okay.
the PH. So a lot of times when they're sending those emails, they have links in them where they really want you to click to learn more. Again, if it's not something that you're familiar with, or maybe if you just want to be extra precautious, don't click the links. If it looks good, okay, just go look it up on the website. Look it up directly instead of clicking on links. Because sometimes when you click on those links, what it does is it gives you a virus. It can give you malware on your device. It can start looking for your passwords, your financial information. It's just bad news. So if you get an email, be careful what you click on. That's very, very important. Now, going to the vishing attack, that's with the V. So this is one that really leverages voice communication. So this is all about getting phone calls. We all get those all the time, those darn phone calls, those spam phone calls. And usually it's somebody trying to make you say something so that they can either record that information or save that information and try to hack into your accounts later. So you just have to be careful with that too. A lot of times if you get a call and they're asking for information, it's okay to say, thank you for letting me know, let me call you back. And then don't call that number right back. Instead, if they're calling about one of your credit cards or one of your accounts, look on your account statement, look on the back of your credit card, call the number there and let them know, hey, I just got a call. I want to know if this is legitimate.
So
the best way to keep yourself safe
is actually not saying too much when a phone call like that occurs. Quick question for you. I know that with the use of AI and it's really exploding, they're able to clone voices a lot easier now just by taking a few seconds of even what you say. Does that cause any additional concern for you when it comes to a vishing attack?
Not yet, but I do see it being a big problem in the future. For me, it doesn't cause much problems because I'm very careful with how much I will say online or on the phone. You're not going to get a lot of information from me that way. And maybe it's because I'm a small town girl. Maybe it's because I bank at my local banks and I try to shop local as much as I can. I know the people in my community and I know that they're not doing things like this. And so when I have that great community connection, it's a little bit easier to be safe and feel safe. When you're dealing with large corporations, when you're dealing with large mega box stores, when you're dealing with things that like just giant sales that scammers can try to replicate and get you to buy into, that's sometimes when you start to have many more problems. So those are definitely red flags that you need to be aware of.
So many of them here this holiday season. And, I flip the page and I find out there's smishing attacks. And I think I'm tracking you now. But a smishing attack, we've talked vishing, we talked phishing, smishing. What's going on there?
Text messages. So yeah, most of the time it's through text messages. It's going to be a link to a web page. It's going to be email me here or call me here. And whenever you click on that, there's a chance that something is going into your phone to try and get information. So a lot of times they'll even sometimes look really, really legit. So it might look like a company that you deal with. It might look like your insurance company per se. But if you look really, really close, you might find that there's just something not quite right on the website. Maybe they're missing an E in the name, or maybe they have 2 dots and they should only have 1. It's little things like that again, really hard to see on your phone, even for young people that have great and perfect eyes, really hard to see on your phone. And they're really, really depending on that. And so, be very careful. It might look legitimate, but there are lots and lots of fakes out there just trying to get your info.
It's really a shame that it is the case. And then if your information has been sold or they can make it that much more pointed at you, it is a concerning deal, especially as we make our way into the holiday season. I'm tracking you now. Smishing attacks are generally through text messages. A vishing attack, I'm typically calling you. And a phishing is typically an email or some other form of electronic communication. Would I be correct at least in that?
Bingo, you've got it.
Okay, I'm tracking with you now. 3 types of attacks, and none of them you want. We're going to find out more about what happens if you have fell victim to them potentially, and a little bit more with Valerie Belusco. Valerie is a community and economic development educator with the University of Illinois Extension. We'll be right back around with more on WTIM, your information station.
WTIM.
Is delivered alongside crucial weather updates, market reports, and agricultural news, it receives the same attention and credibility. Farm Radio Connects offers agricultural advertisers targeted access to this engaged audience through professionals who understand both broadcasting and agriculture. According to the National Association of Farm Broadcasting, 78% of farmers consider information from farm broadcasters highly trustworthy. When you need to reach rural America effectively, choose the voices they already trust. Visit IllinoisFarmRadio.com and discover how Ag Radio can elevate your agricultural marketing strategy.
Does your bank offer rewards on your qualified signature-based debit card purchases? If not, then we need to talk. Hi, my name is Lisa McAllister with People's Bank and Trust. Join the growing number of our customers who are earning cash back on all qualifying debit card purchases. You already use your debit card. Now make it work for you with Save by Spending rewards from People's Bank and Trust. Earning rewards is as easy as shop, sign, and save. Call 888-PBT-1954 and find out more about our Save by Spending rewards program today. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Brenda Elder here, the Executive Director of the Shelby County Economic Development Corporation. From growing your business to attracting new investment, we're here to help. Find out more by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
If you're dreading the leaf raking and snow shoveling, Hickory Point Garden Homes in Forsyth is half the cost of most independent living options and maintenance free. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Morning Show here on your information station and brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm joined in this segment by Valerie Belusco, Community and Economic Development Educator with the University of Illinois Extension. We talked phishing, and smishing attacks and just what people are trying to do to you here when you're online shopping during this holiday season. So the question to you, Valerie, is we talked about those attacks, but how do I avoid actually being a victim to them?
I'm going to be suspicious of any unsolicited calls, emails, anything like that. If it's not someone that you reached out to and they're sending you an email or leaving you a voicemail that says, call back, we need to verify this, be highly suspicious of that. Don't reveal any personal or financial information through emails, and don't respond to email solicitations. Really think it through. Again, go directly to the website. Make sure that when you click to donate on a website, that you see that HTTPS at the top of your URL to make sure it's secure. Also, you'll usually see like a little padlock logo or icon, and that also means that you're safe. So your information will be encrypted, and it's going to have to be verified by the company. So it's a nice, safe way to make sure that you're keeping your information safe. Also, make sure that your antivirus software is always up to date, your firewalls. If you start getting suspicious emails, that's when it's time for you to change your password for your email. You even might want to do that with your social media accounts. You can do that with your banking accounts. Again, keep those in a safe place, but make sure you change the password just to kind of help things out there.
Okay, so that password, once it's out there, it definitely needs to be changed, no doubt about that. But you mentioned that padlock icon when it comes to that top left of your search bar. I use that, or at least I always kind of try to think about that when it comes to making a purchase. If I don't see that closed padlock, does it necessarily mean it's not secure, or should I just venture on the fact that if I don't see it, I don't see the S, then it probably should just not be used?
Well, I personally wouldn't use it.
Okay.
But here's the other thing. There's also safety precautions you can take. For example, I have a credit card that I use specifically for any online purchases that I make. It is only for online purchases, and I have a limit at $500. And every time the credit card company says, we want to increase your limit, I say, don't you dare. I only want it to be at $500, because if somebody steals it online, even though the credit card company says that they have ways of protecting me and that, they'll pay back any stolen money, we all know how hard that can be. So I had to think about, what am I comfortable losing? And I'm comfortable losing $500. So that's how much I have on my credit card that I can spend. That's the one I use for my online shopping. And, if I really, really wanted that deal, and it didn't have a padlock icon, I would use that card. But I would also know that, something might happen.
When you run a risk, just being aware of the fact that there could be outcomes that you're not exactly excited for. But I'm sure those credit card companies, or that particular credit card company, is chomping at the bit right now to get you to bump up that $500 spending limit. I'm sure
all the time.
That might feel like bit of a phishing attack. I don't know. But hey, Valerie, I do want to say thank you for joining us here today on the WTIM Morning Show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, as always, Valerie Belusco, Community and Economic Development Educator with the University of Illinois Extension, joining us here on the WTIM Morning Show. More to come tomorrow morning.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville.
96.1 FM Taylorville.
107.5 FM Shelbyville.
107.9 FM Pena Nokomis.
Investigation of pipe bombs planted at two